Dina Upshaw, composting. This is my audience. Good evening. My name is Dina Upshaw. I'd like to thank you all for coming today. I read the other day on the EPA website that you and I produce about 4.5 pounds of trash every single day. That's about 30% of the national amount that is produced yearly that is food and yard waste that comes from the average American family. That's a lot of trash. But you and I can decrease that amount with little effort and little cost. You came to learn about composting, so I hope I can demystify it a little bit for you. Everything I learned about composting and gardening, I learned from my favorite gardener, my mom, and because she's done it virtually all my life. What I learned from my experiences was that composting is its own best reward. There's lots of benefits. To name a few, you reduce waste, you improve your soil, and you generate healthier plant life. So, how do we go from this to this? It's as simple as waste, air, and water. When I first started composting years ago, I didn't know a thing about it. I would collect all my kitchen scraps, all my household garbage, everything I thought would be great in the compost, and I'd throw it in the pile. Well, you can imagine what I got from that. Every critter for about 2 square miles would come to my house every night for supper. They got a great feast, but all I got was a pile of stinky critter getter. And I learned from that experience that garbage heap does not equal compost pile. There are 4 things that you need to make a great compost. You need carbon, nitrogen, air, and water. Now before you hyperventilate because you don't have a chemistry degree, I'll simplify it for you. You need carbon, and that comes from browns. This is dead stuff. Your leaves, plant clippings, anything yard waste that's dead. You can also put in cardboard. You can use paper towel and toilet paper rolls, newspapers. You can use household waste like a dryer and vacuum cleaner lint. You can add fireplace ash, you can add fur and hair. This is just a few things. There's a great article called What's Okay to Compost, written by Mark Lalanella on about.com that will tell you a whole lot more. The next ingredient you need are your greens. This is where you get your nitrogen. Greens are anything fresh that you've clipped, like grass clippings, fresh yard clippings, house plants, kitchen waste made from vegetables and fruit waste. You can put in coffee grounds, tea bags, eggshells, those kinds of things. The next ingredient is air. This promotes decomposition. Without aeration, your pile is just a stinky garbage pile. There's a pamphlet called Lazy Person's Guide to Composting, put out by Rolling Hills RC&D of Cedartown, Georgia. They suggest a real easy way to aerate your pile. You take those paper towel rolls or toilet paper rolls and you put them in whole without crushing them. Or for you athletic and energetic types, you can get a pitchfork and turn your pile regularly if you don't have the turn type bin. Your last ingredient that is important is water. Water aids in digestion by the composting organisms. In an article I read, Composting for Beginners by Vincent Lawrence of Plow and Hearth magazine, he says that your pile should stay as moist as a damp sponge. So if your pile looks a little dry, hose it down or add some greens. Now that you know what goes into your compost, let's talk about how much and how to do it. you need to remember the ratio of 3 to 5 parts of brown to 1 part of green. If your pile is not working, it's not heating up, you need to add a few more greens. If your pile smells like garbage or a diaper pail, or it seems a little wet, add some browns. The next thing you have to remember is to chop and turn. The chopping is like chewing your food at a dinner table. It aids in digestion. Little pieces in your compost pile make it work better and faster. And of course, turning adds the air, introduces the air, gives it aeration to make it decompose faster. Now, word of caution, not everything you toss out is compostable. There are some things you should not add. In the article, What's Okay to Compost, he tells us we should not put in dairy products, meat scraps, fats, or grease. What this does is it makes your pile smell, it attracts your animal neighbors, and it annoys your human neighbors. You should not put in charcoal. You should not put in pet waste. This brings in parasites and disease. Don't put in any diseased plants. Don't put in anything that has been treated with chemicals or pesticides. This can kill your composting organisms and harm your plants when you use your compost. Friends, you can make a difference. You can make an impact on your environment by composting. It's cheap, it's easy, you don't need a big yard, and if it's done right, it's not going to smell. Everything you need for a great compost is readily available just about everywhere. Your browns, your greens, your air, and your water. Just remember to chop it and turn it, and don't add anything to make it smell. I urge you to start your conservation project in your own backyard and involve your family. Make a difference in your yard, your community, and your planet. Thank you.
612.